Yeah, now that we have this, we'll be able to see it and feel it a little bit better. Very cool. So now what we see is there's some sort of natural clusterings here that we'll be able to investigate a little bit further as we get deeper into the notebook here. So this is where I don't see much difference necessarily between the two ideas of a computer notebook and a printed notebook. I think you should be able to print them both out and use them just the same, or actually cooperatively, I guess. So right here, what's cool is we've got the landmark, and this is an abstract role. You never really use this. Like, a landmark doesn't mean anything. However, all of these guys observe the landmark role, and they all have very specific meanings. They're more significant than the section. They're significant section abstract roles. Again, another role we'll never actually use. We may use the section tag. That's not the section role. The section tag is a very flexible role system that we can use. So all the way up to here, right about at this little tree item. So this is more of a apple that fell to the ground here. So tree item, which is kind of a list, which is a list item, which is a section. It's also an option for an input. So far over here, we've only really encountered the perceivable, or at least these are non-input. So actually, one of the best ways to say this is actually sectioning. So we use the word section a lot, but sectioning content refers to the HTML elements that basically have the landmark role. So this is where we kind of see a mapping between, so this would be from a ARIA perspective to a HTML perspective. Sectioning content is quite specific. Okay. Now, I think another interesting one to point out here is probably looking at this little window right here, mostly that contains dialogue and window. So dialogue is a HTML element. I think it's actually a sectioning element. So we can, but dialogue is the only one that has this base class of window. But a lot of times I think what we might actually, so the cool thing about the dialogue is you can basically use it to like temporarily destroy the accessibility object model and only show what you need. So it's pretty good from a cognitive accessibility perspective for screen reader users. So, but sometimes you might actually want to be able to show the things ahead of time. Dialogue's a finicky little web component. So sometimes we might actually want to use a visible thing that then can become kind of like a dialogue element, at least in, say, ARIA form. So this is our little dialogue window. Let's give it some LeBlanc. All right. I still haven't found a good reason to use article yet. I don't know, but that's this document type. But that would also probably exist as section and content too. All right. Now we start seeing a bunch of the table structures and things along those lines. But what all of this is actually getting to is where's the star? This is the star here. Structure's the star. All of these things that are not input, or some of them might actually eventually be input, are structure. So this is where a lot of things start. And now the other place where a lot of things start is at widget. And then also input. So a widget is like let's see, what do we got? Widget goes to a link. Widget goes to a command and then a button. They might all go to command. So I don't think we ever use command actually, but a widget has buttons and things along those lines. Input, this is where like the text things show up. Radio, I guess there's more. I don't really know how to describe the difference. I guess these have the inputs seem like they might have more state changes to them. So this is the input. Great. This is the widget. And as we get towards the end, we'll show how all of these things kind of exist programmatically. So where we are right now, we're kind of looking like some kind of situation where it's like, okay, so all there. All up here. We're going to find interactive content. And that is in the HTML parlance. Interactive. Okay. Now, in between, there's a bunch, basically, for the most part, all of this would be considered palpable. I believe, I'm not sure. Let's not get too far there. We're focused on ARIA roles here, and we kind of made a fun little diagram where you can sort of see the clusterings of things and what we are. And ultimately, my purpose is to find sort of the read-only and the write-only components eventually, but nevertheless, each time I see this, I start to understand it more and more and more. So the idea is really that you can't design an accessible digital thing outside of this space. You might put stuff together, you might make composites, but nevertheless, you're sort of bound by the semantics of these roles, which is why it's important to understand and reconsider the ARIA roles in a few different facets and capacities.